Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to Let's Play Galactic Civilizations 4! This baby is finally released. Actually, when this video goes live, you guys should have access to the full game of Galactic Civilizations 4. I'm currently playing on the beta. This is a pre-release recording on the beta 0.95, which just came out. I was practicing a little on 0.92. Don't know how much has changed. We'll see. I've been told that this beta is very close to what we're going to see on the release. My plan here is to play a short, easy warm-up game of GalCiv 4 on this pre-release beta, and then switch over to a bigger, more serious effort with the release version. Just to make sure, I didn't want to get involved in a really long game in an incomplete version where things might go bad and maybe the saves won't be compatible at release date. So that's where our plan's going to be for this very first one. But this is releasing, again, this video, the embargo is going to be on the 26th, which is when the full game release is out. And on Wednesday, the 27th, I'm going to be live streaming over at twitch.tv/Quill18 some Galactic Civilization 4. So we're going to have two sort of parallel games going at the same time. This Let's Play, which will be pre-recorded on the beta, and then the live stream on the release version. So if you want lots of GalCiv, you're going to be getting plenty of it this week. Let's go ahead and get started. So what I was thinking for this first one, this little test, this little warm-up, we would go with a very basic sort of baseline experience. And with that, I was going to play as the humans. There's lots of races, including the ability to create your own civilization from scratch, which is phenomenal. And we will definitely be messing with that in the future. But here I wanted to get like the, humans are venturing to space for the first time, learning the ropes kind of vibe. So we're going to be playing as the Terran Alliance over here, who are the inventors of the hyperdrive. I do like this tech, even though the humans are one of the last races to become sort of spacefaring. So all the other races have sort of been around for a while in a lot of the lore, right? They have a little bit more past history. The humans are a little bit newer, but they're the ones who invented the hyperdrive. There's also some things with like maybe we were in some sort of like protective bubble for a long time because of various lore that has happened in previous games. But anyway, we've got that. Each of these races have a variety of different traits over here. Some start with colony ships and survey ships, some maybe don't. I think some of them start with 2 colony ships, which is kind of crazy sauce. We're carbon-based. We have an innovation ideology built in. We got our natural explorers over here. We're inspired, so we get more leaders, which is great. We have lower expectations, which is nice. We can customize. We can take one of the pre-made civilizations and then customize it rather than starting from scratch as well. We can change everything with like our abilities over here. Don't make any changes there. Ideologies, we can change some of our traits. So in addition to the abilities you see over here, we're also productive. So we have a 5% boost to manufacturing. We are explorers, so we have 10% ship range. That's in addition, I think, to this 25% ship range. And we're kind of likable, so we have a diplomacy boost over here. Cool. Kind of bluish in color. We're going to live on terrestrial planets, and we've got some really cool looking ships. In terms of the galaxy, I'm just going to play the default setting over here, which is going to be easy and a fairly small galaxy. 2 sectors. Sectors are new to GalCiv 4, I believe, from the previous franchises. I'm really looking forward to seeing how the sector mechanic works in practice. In previous games of GalCiv, you could roam in any direction in the galaxy, and it was very, very wide open. And one of the things I always said about GalCiv is, unlike, say, just Sid Meier's civilization, where between continents and mountain ranges and hills and forests and things, there's kind of natural choke points that you can build around, even before the 1 unit per tile mechanic. And so you could have these kind of front lines in combat. Whereas with previous GalCivs, it always felt like space was so wide open. When you were in a war, people could bypass everything. It was a lot of kind of whack-a-mole kind of vibe. And here we're going to be in smaller galactic sectors that are going to be interconnected. Within the sector itself, it's still going to be pretty wide open, but it's not going to be the same sort of infinite amount of maneuvering space. And I think that might lead to more interesting strategy and tactics. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this feels. But yeah, we're going to be playing fairly small. I mean, you can go to like a really full galaxy kind of number of sectors. You can tweak the size of the sectors, number of stars, habitable worlds. Again, I'm leaving everything on the default for our very first game over here. We've got our opponents. So apparently we're going to have 3 kind of jerkasses. The Drengen, who are like cannibal slavers. The Yor Singularity, who are like destroy all organics. The Festrin Hunt, who want to implant eggs into us, which doesn't sound great. You can see their traits, right? Aggressive, cruel, intimidating, brutal. Yeah, that's quite nice. The Taurians are a little more chill. They're peaceful, though xenophobic. And then we've got the Altarian Republic, spiritual, peaceful, and actually they think they're related to humans. So we'll see. So yeah, 511 players. See, it says random over here, but I don't think... Are we going to get 6 more randomly assigned? Or are we just going to be playing with 5? Oh, there's the random there. Yeah, maybe that's just, you know, something pre-release beta kind of vibe. So we could just throw some more random races in here. But let's just go with this. Again, I said I was going to do the baseline default experience, so that's what we're going to do. Destroying the galaxy, building the galaxy. Chris, I had one previously loaded. All right. Despite being the youngest race in the galaxy, the Terrans are perhaps the most dangerous. Inventors of the hyperdrive, it was their decision to spread it to their neighbors, which led to the current arms race the galaxy finds itself in. Although Terrans present themselves as a peaceful and diplomatic people, their reputation is far more mixed. They possess a flair for violence and a willingness to exercise it. Can you imagine someone who calls themselves a pacifist and then just, you know, keeps attacking all the time? I don't know what that would be like. Although Terrans find nothing strange about this dichotomy, many of their galactic peers regard it as alarming and even duplicitous. Terrans are naturally adventurous, with fast, long-ranging ships. Their production capacity and diplomatic abilities are well regarded. Their ability to field large fleets is regarded with a bit more wariness. Excellent! Alright, so we can zoom way out and take a look at our sector. Somewhere over here there's going to be, what do they call it, a subspace stream or something on the edge somewhere around here. We'll need a technology to be able to discover it. And I think this is a preview of the races in this cluster. It's a little bit weird. I think that makes more sense when we can see multiple clusters and kind of zoom out. But yeah, we need a technology to be able to detect it and another technology to be able to fly along it. So it's going to be a little while before we can move outside of our sector, but that's okay. We are going to start with a trio of ships, but before we get to them, let's just deal with the pop-ups. Well, they're not pop-ups. This is sort of like your next turn, next action button over here, letting us know the things we need to take care of. So first thing is we need to start doing some research. So here's how it works in Galciv 4. Of all the tech that is currently available to be researched, a random set of 4, or 5, if you have a Minister of Technology, or Technology Minister, is presented. Now, we can go ahead and take a look at the tech tree. I think there's 2 tech trees. This one here has more of the civilian stuff, and then, as far as I can tell, there's not a way to just flip between the 2, but if I click on Armed Shuttles over here, then it'll show me the more military tree. There might just be the 2. I'm not sure. I think that's the way it works. And so you can get an idea, like if we really want to make sure to unlock, say, planetary invasions, so we can do ground invasions. We know that when planetary mobilization presents itself, we should take that. And then later on, when centralized administration comes up, we should take that. And then at some point, planetary invasion might show up. But there's no way for us to like queue the moves or anything. And I'm kind of okay with that. You know, it reminds me of a little bit of Alpha Centauri, when you have the sort of undirected research thing. But this is a little bit more directed, but not quite the same. So what are we going to research first? We do get, you know, the science advisor says this one, cultural advisor says this one, military advisor says this one. They are ordered by research cost, cheapest to the left. Here, they all going to take the same amount of turns. Space elevators doesn't give us anything that I care about immediately, but it does lead to planetology and research districts. Planetology will improve our colonization options and ways to improve our planets. Research districts lets us build research districts on our planets, which seems pretty good. Spoiler alert, 4X games and research tends to be pretty important. We could also go with star bases. Star bases are really, really potent in Galciv and always have been. And I'm kind of tempted to take this so we can start doing star basey things as early as possible. I think that's what I want. So we're going to do that. All right, next thing we're going to be prompted about is that we have an empty policy slot, which is actually this civilization button right over here. Either way, it'll open the same screen. We can look at our tax rate. We can see any trade routes we've got going on. The automation button, this is classic Galciv, where you can tell like all ships moving to point A go here instead. I haven't figured out a way to set a rally point in Galciv 4 yet. I don't know if that's a thing or not. We're currently generating, well, it says 3 over here, but it's rounding up this number. We're actually generating 2.5 science per turn. And we've got a policy we can run. So we've got a variety of things we can run. Security lights for reduced crime, land exploitation for more income but increased pollution, hardy empire for influence and gross income, fast exploration. This is very tempting early on because we don't need the hit points early. The +2 move will let us see the world a lot faster. It's also cross colonization to massively increase our growth rate at a slight cost per approval. Very sexy, but I think I'm going to grab brainstorming right away because it's +2 research. Just a flat +2 research applied to the homeworld, but that is effectively, that's nearly going to double our starting research rate. So we're going to go ahead and drop that in. Hopefully we can unlock more of these policy slots later on, and we will be unlocking many new policies going forward as well. Next, we're being prompted that we have an idle core world, so let's take a look at Earth. And actually, hold on. Let's take a look at Earth. That is pretty. I also like our ships. I like how there's all these little spinny bits. If you don't know with Galciv, you can actually visually build any kind of ship you kind of want. It's like Lego style, like ship assembly. The visual aspect and all the parts you stick onto the ship have no impact on gameplay. So like you can make the ships look like anything you want. It feels awesome. And then in addition to that, there are modules you stick on that do things, like the guns and shield modules and colonization modules and stuff. Like, I don't mean to say that the shipbuilding is pointless. I'm saying because the cosmetic aspect of the shipbuilding is not a game impact thing, you can just go nuts, and people will make like X-Wings and, you know, USS Enterprises and all kinds of really cool designs with their vessels. That is not something I excel at. We will be doing the ship design for the crunchy number part of things, but if I have to visually design any ships, like, listen, I'm really good at making board cubes, you guys. We just start with a cube, and then we're done. Earth! All right. So, as is most of the previous Galcivs, we've got these little hexes that we're going to be building on. Earlier ones, were they hexes or different? I don't know. Anyway, basically the production in Galciv is we've got these hexes and you can build stuff on them. Now, the mechanic of the production rate is a little counterintuitive, right? Like, I can go and build a manufacturing district. A manufacturing district doesn't give me flat out more manufacturing. It gives me a percentage boost to the manufacturing on this planet. So this planet over here of Earth currently is producing 4 mineral outputs. So if we build a manufacturing district, which as a base just gives 2% more, that doesn't sound like very much. But there's a lot of ways to amplify those modifiers. A lot of it will come from adjacency bonuses. Annoyingly, our capital city this time is in Florida. Mostly, no offense to Californians, I'm complaining about it because it's only adjacent to 1 hex currently. And the capital city does give you some basic built-in stuff, but one of the big things it does is give an adjacency bonus. Anything I build adjacent to the capital city is 2 levels higher, so is going to be producing a fair bit more. And right now that's only 1 slot. Now later on we will be able to terraform. We'll fill in the Atlantic over here and the Gulf of Mexico. We'll fill all that in, and then the capital city will be able to impact other things. But yeah, this placement is kind of unlucky. We do have some basic resources, some special places. We've got precious minerals over here. So if we built a wealth generating district, like the financial district, it would be 2 levels higher. So you can see here, the basic financial district gives you 6% more income, and being level 2 is another 6%. So with the financial districts, it seems to be 3% per level. So this would increase our income by 12%, which isn't bad. Our base is 4. And we are getting some modifiers there already. It's actually being reduced for crime. Maybe we can do something about that. The planetfall is +1 to everything in that tile. There's an isolated biome over here with +3 research. These are randomized every time. So let's go to Thulium Deposit. So it gives adjacency to wealth, but also if we build it, we get a Thulium Extractor, which will give us resources that we can use for special buildings or ship modules. Also got a Nano Fabricator over here. If we build this, it'll give us start accumulating charges that we can use to damage ships in space. Early on, I'm quite a fan of usually boosting productivity and or research. Earth here is pretty balanced. It kind of produces some of everything, so everything is kind of buildable. I can't build the research buildings early on. We don't actually have that unlocked. So I guess what I'll do is maybe, and we do have some manufacturing boosts, also research boosts, but the +1 level, it doesn't feel like as god tier as it has in previous versions. I think what I'll do is I'll build a little bit of manufacturing here. So the manufacturing districts, as a base, 2%, and then they get an extra 1% manufacturing per level. So this one here is going to give us an extra 5% manufacturing. Hey, it's not that impressive, but it adds up, and then you can level them up later on as well. They also give adjacency bonuses themselves. So oftentimes what we're going to do is we're going to build little triangles over here. So these things will buff each other. These two will also get buffs from their terrain. This one won't, but these little triangles seem to work okay. I could also build a industrial center, for example, which it's one per player, so we can only build one for a whole civilization. Gives us 10% more manufacturing on the planet as a whole, and then it also has the +2 adjacency. I'm actually thinking we might put it here, and then just build more manufacturing around. I suppose I could build it here as well, because it would get the same manufacturing 3% boost as the actual industrial district itself. Yeah, let's cancel you. We'll put the industrial district, because it has the global 10% as well, so it's going to do a lot. And let's assume that Earth is going to be pretty manufacturing oriented. That's going to be okay. So the manufacturing here gets applied to both civilian manufacturing for building new districts, as well as shipyard manufacturing. As far as I can tell, in Galaxy 4, there are no sliders or things like that to tweak the balance between civilian and shipyard-based stuff. I think I'm going to queue up the Thulium extractor afterwards, so we can start to accrue those points as well. I'm a little less concerned about the nanofabricator. So we'll do that. There's Earth sort of settled. Now let's take a look at our ships. First, we've got Thea here. This is a probe. And the thing about the probes in this game, and I think this is new to Galciv, is they have unlimited range. They are unmanned ships with unlimited range, so they make great explorers to spot things around. We've also got another way to sort of accelerate things. We've got these executive orders we can use. They consume control. And we've got a few. We've got print money, which will lower approval for a year, but give us a ton of cash. That's pretty tempting. It's going to use 60 of our control. We've also got the telescope takeover, which is pretty cheap at 15 and reveals an area of the map. I'm going to use that and just click sort of way out over here. It did not reveal much that was terribly useful, but it's still going to help accelerate our exploration. We've also got another one here, which is fantastic. Draft Colonist, 33 control, gives us a free colony ship. Not only does it give us a colony ship, I don't think it costs us a unit population from the planets, which normally a colony ship does. So we're going to go ahead and do that, because colony ships sound great. I no longer have enough control to print money, although in 8 turns we will. These things do have cooldowns, so we'll be able to draft colonists again in 8 months. And that seems pretty tempting, actually, to keep spamming out pretty aggressively. So we've got quite a few ships now. Oh, what I'm going to do with the probe is I think I'm just going to tell it to auto-explore. Hopefully it doesn't get into too much trouble. But yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. And it's just going to try to expose as much fog of war as possible. Actually, I might specifically tell you to go and check the star system out over here. Great stuff. We also have our survey ships. So survey ships, they are the only ones with a survey module, and they can use that to scout out anomalies. So we've got an anomaly over here, for example, some artifact anomaly. So if I send the survey ship over here, it's going to spend 3 months over here to survey this artifact, and then we'll get some sort of event, some sort of benefit from it. There's a lot of wide range of what they are. We will be automating the survey as well. That sounds fine. Earth has an idle shipyard. What would we like to build here? I think we're going to queue up a colony ship, and in fact, we might rush it. In fact, I think I'll probably put 2 in the queue here. We're going to consider doing a rush, which we can do from here. It only costs 180 credits. I can also do it by clicking on the shipyard itself, and then there's the rush here. But before we spend our money, we're going to take a look at another screen, our leader screen here. So these leaders are people we can recruit, and they can be assigned to a wide variety of roles. They can be set in charge of one of our ministries. They can be assigned to be a governor of a planet. D.L. Bradley is already the governor of Earth. These governors are quite important because they convert a colony to a core world. They can be assigned as a diplomat to an alien species. They can also become the commander of a ship. And this is kind of neat because if we assign a leader to one of the ships we have available, it actually instantly spawns that ship. And one of these ships is the Curiosity here for the humans, which is another survey vessel. And I would love to have a second survey vessel. The stats on the leaders affect their various roles. So for the ship, we would really like Diligence for more hit points and Resolve for more attack. It's not the most critical in the universe, I think, for the survey ship here, but it would be something that's kind of nice. Another one that's quite enticing is the Ministry of Technology. We will get extra research boost. It also unlocks that 5th research slot, increasing our options. Ministry of Colonization here, colony approval based on social skill, all really good. So they do cost money. Some of them are much more expensive than others. They have different loyalty values, and as far as I can tell, when you sign someone to be a governor, they have a -20 loyalty all the time because they're not happy about it. But we can gift them some stuff to boost it. If they get below 30, bad things can happen. So let's take a look here. We've got Jenny Lease. She's greedy, so she's an increased recruit cost. She sure does. So we might just ignore her because she's really pricey. Sarah here is what? Paranoid. When assigned as a governor, will flee back to your leader pool if their planet is conquered. I mean, fair. Cybernetic. A cybernetic enhancement hated by a portion of our population. Wonder if she might make a really poor governor. And she's cheap. She sure is. She's got a lot of resolve and a lot of diligence. I think you are going to make a fantastic commander of our survey ship. The Perseverance and the Victory are both military crafts, so we can save those in case we get in a little bit of trouble. All right. What do we have here? Vicky has no traits. Responsible for their father's death. Oof. Lots of diligence, which is quite good for governors of manufacturing worlds, although we also want social for approval. Steph. Diplomat reduces the approval of the civilization assigned to by 5%. Oh, that's funny. You actually make the target civilization worse. Pragmatic gives us an ideology boost, which we'll talk about at some point. Underminer. Diplomat reduces resistance civilizationers. Okay, so Steph is a great offensive diplomat, although their stats suck otherwise. I don't think I'm terribly interested in these. We might wait for these leaders to recycle. So it's too bad we didn't grab a Minister of Technology, but they're kind of crap. I am happy we got the extra survey ship. I think that's going to be really good. Since I have so much money then, I'm going to go ahead and rush by this colony ship, and we might rush by the next one next turn as well. This colony ship, one of these is a colony ship we started with, and one is the one that we executive ordered. The rush ship is going to be there next turn. Now, let's talk about planets. So, in previous Galcivs, so every planet has got a rating. So Earth over here has a rating of 28. It is amazing. Mars over here has a rating of 3, which is poor, and we've also got Artemis over here with a class 2. In previous Galcivs, you only really wanted to colonize planets that were fairly highly numbered, because low planets really could never build anything, were kind of a drain. The other thing in previous Galcivs, you had to manage every single planet. Now things are quite a bit different, because if you colonize a planet, it becomes a colony, which you do not manage directly. You can't build anything. It just produces its basic amount. So Mars over here has 2 manufacturing, 1 wealth, and 1 influence. If we colonize Mars, it would send those values to Earth. Mars itself would not be improvable unless we assigned a governor to it, in which point it becomes a core world, and we would be able to build things on it and stuff. But Mars is so crappy with a class 3, we have no interest in doing this. But we should colonize it because that will just buff Earth's output. Same thing with Artemis over here. Hey, it's got 1 of everything. That's great. So our colony ship, we can just go ahead and send it to, say, Mars. I think it'll be 1 turn short. And then this colony ship over here, we're going to go ahead and send it to Artemis. Again, it'll be just a little bit short in its movement. And then we've got this commander, which is another survey vessel. I'm going to manually tell it to go and survey over here, and then, yeah, we'll probably automate these guys later on. That's going to be okay. Well, it's got a sort of control relic, so if we build a starbase over here, we'll get extra control points per month, which is great. We've seen some antimatter here. We can build a mining starbase here, or 2 antimatter over there. Antimatter tends to be near black holes. And Elerium. Yeah, we're definitely going to want to mine this area with some starbases, get some resources early. Okay, so when you build a colony ship or a construction ship, you do load one of your colonists on board. And they do have different stats. And right now, these are all workers. Later on, I think we can already convert them to farmers. And later on, we'll have other roles like scientists and entertainers. We can change the people's roles to on their planets. And so they're giving different boosts to things. Yeah, they provide manufacturing based on their diligence. And then they have different internal approvals over here. So I don't think it matters who we grab for this particular thing. I tend to just grab people who are less happy, but in this case, it actually might make less sense because they'll probably be even less happy when they colonize another planet. But although here, if we're just doing colonies as opposed to core world, I don't think their approval matters. So we'll do that. So we got another colony ship, but we only have these 2 uncolonized worlds. So this colony ship's got nowhere to go right now. Although we did spot some worlds over here. Oh, they're dead. Okay. My probe is moving over here. I mean, probably there'll be planets near some of these suns. I'm just going to blind send the colony ship, say, over in this direction, and then we'll see. We'll colonize Mars and Artemis. With the establishment of this colony, we've taken our first steps into the galaxy. Our colonists represent everything which makes our people great, and with that, they'll have every chance of thriving on this new alien world. And then every time you colonize something, you get a little event here. Mars is an inhospitable home for organic life with the challenges of radiation exposure, toxic soil, and low gravity. Still, we have identified 3 potential locations for the colonies on this planet. Arsvalis is where Sojourner, the first Terran explorer outside of Earth, landed. Eberswald Delta is a delta in a delta. Yo, dog, I heard you like deltas. Holden Crater has signs of microbial life that may indicate that the region is more suited to organic life. Where would you like to build our colony? So different things, sometimes it'll have ideology tweaks, sometimes it'll do different things. Here we're going to get a leader. We don't know what the leader stat will be. We would like some more leaders, but I don't know. +1 minerals, and these are minerals that are going to be sent to Earth. Or, yeah, I want this. I want our tech rate increase. Okay, then Artemis over here, inhospitable as we have seen so far. It's cold, barren, has limited atmosphere and gravity. Still, our colony is deployed successfully, and our colonists quickly set to turning this minor planet into a new home. It is an example of what our courage and ingenuity are able to accomplish. One corporation is very interested in Artemis and offers a generous fee if we will allow them exclusive licensing rights to the fledgling colony. Ooh, celebrate this achievement across our civilization gives us +1 culture point. Make this world a monument to our success and future expansion. I don't know if the approval matters for colonies. Actually, I guess it does have an approval rating. So it's something. It also generates more influence, which I think would send to Earth. Maybe the influence doesn't get sent. In any case, it would expand the borders more, but I don't think that's terribly important right now. Or licensing right. I mean, that's a lot of money, but it's a one-shot money thing. I think we're going to go for culture points. And we met our first alien. A cruel-looking, green-skinned biped appears, glaring at us, wearing armor of some kind and baring its teeth. It gives every impression that it is a warrior, at least wishes to be perceived as one. It barks something angrily at the screen, and you wonder for a moment if it's truly a bad thing we can't understand what it's saying. We need to research Universal Translator before we understand these guys. Let's just smile and nod. Right here. I think the telescope gives us vision over a zone for a little bit. Because we can see this ship over here, and otherwise we don't have a presence. So maybe that's what goes on there. Huh. Well, that's a great first neighbor. You know, slavers, people who want to eat us, all that. Let's talk about ideology. So in previous Calcibs, there was basically a good and a bad axis. You could be good or bad or neutral, and that was pretty much that. Now there are 7 different sections with 2 sides on each of them. So authority versus liberty, tradition versus innovation, compassion versus pragmatism, equality versus opportunity, secrecy versus transparency, individualism versus harmony. I don't know what, like, they choose the name of this. You know, maybe it's based on whatever we have the highest, because we have more individualism unlocked than harmony, so maybe that changes the title here. Anyway, and cooperation versus creativity here. Various decisions and all kinds of things will just give us some extra awareness of the ideology, and it's the awareness level that unlocks things. Even though this looks like a tree, if we had 9 creativity, we could grab perfect production without having anything else in here, at least in the current build, and I think that's just the way it's meant to be. So we can see where we have some ranks. Like, these are the ones we have available to unlock. We have a single point to unlock in any category. So we could grab... Yeah, so the highest thing we have is liberty here. But I think we can still grab the authority if we wanted with control. But here, self-governance, 10% more approval on colonies and a free leader. That's a lot of approval, and I think that's very handy. Again, it's a blind free leader, but we could use more. That's not bad. And we don't really care about looking down the tree. As far as I understand it, I might be completely wrong about this. Innovation. Approval boosts after discovering new technology, so that's forever. And right now we get 30 extra research, which is a lot. Our research rate is like, what, 4.5 per turn right now? That's 6 turns worth of research. And that's a pretty good early boost. We could also do deep investigation. 3 research after serving an anomaly. I don't know if this one's great, So let's say it takes a turn to move to a new anomaly, and then it takes 3 turns to research the anomaly. That's 4 turns for 3 research from this. Now, we do have 2 ships, so that's 3 research every 2 turns on average. That doesn't sound fantastic. You know? It seems pretty weak to me. Maybe I'm screwing up the math. Now, I mean, obviously this is, so this is 10 anomalies worth of tech, and it's front-loaded. It happens instantly. This seems just so good to me. We can also get ambition right now. Leaders cost less. And what can we get here? Plus 2% income, research, manufacturing. I mean, that's fine, but I think I'm just going to grab the Eureka, especially if it has the constant approval boost. Maybe it's not constant. Maybe it's a one-time. But anyway, it's going to immediately finish a tech force, which is great. I do like the idea of being able to explore a little bit faster in the early game. Armed shuttles does get us military stuff early. I'm hoping we don't have to immediately go for military. Space elevators does lead to planetology and research districts, which is pretty sexy. Hyperspace radio, hyperwave radio does give us a second policy. You know what? I think unlocking a second policy is going to be really good early on. Oh, and we had so much overflow tech because of the plus 30, we immediately get this. Xeno Entertainment lets us build the upgrade entertainment because we can build them now. We can specialize our people as entertainers. Special Executive Order, Virtual World Wonder. Starbase, more Starbase modules and range. I'm going to go for the Starbase modules. I'm going to be very Starbase oriented in the start here. And the range actually might be really good for being able to have one mining Starbase collect all this, which would be great. So we did, because we researched the Starbase tech, we get 2 constructors for free right now. And there's a bunch of different things, Starbases you can build. If you're near a planet, you can build an economic Starbase. That gives us a boost to our manufacturing and things. I think the boost only applies to core worlds. Because I think the colonies don't get multipliers. I think they just produce their raw stuff. Although you have the 20% manufacturing number here. So you just produce +1. And then there's the decay. So if we look at Earth, right, you're getting the 0.94 from Artemis, because it produces 1, but it's got the 6% decay, which is based on range. And I think only Earth gets these multipliers. So I think the economic starbase doesn't actually have to cover the colonies. But I'm not certain. Still, I think what we're going to prioritize with our construction ships is claiming some territory outside of our borders, and we can go and backfill some of these later on. We do have an Ascension Crystal there, which is nice. So I'm wondering if we go here, because I can't go right on that tile, but we might be able to cover all 3 of those with 1 base, especially when we get the +1 range upgrade. I'm not sure. I could go back here and pick up this antimatter. I don't like that it's not sort of forward settling, but we may as well mine this resource, right? Okay, with that, we're going to go ahead and put in a cut. If you are new to the channel, do of course make sure to subscribe, and as always, like, comment, those sorts of things. It does make a huge, huge difference. And otherwise, I'm going to see you guys hopefully very shortly for part 2. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.